Hey people, it's Steel Gamer with a quick Outer Worlds video about something that I find a bunch of gamers reading shit that doesn't exist because they're stupid. So let me bring you up to speed. I had a subscriber provide this game to me because they get stuck at this point in here and they wanted me to go through and figure out exactly what happened. So when I did, I find it interesting how when I bring this point up to gamers somehow forget that I said I'm doing this for a subscriber and then start saying I'm the one that's trying to do this as if the fucking subscriber somehow doesn't exist. It goes right out of their head, which brings me to the next point that they don't know how to fucking read. So let me bring you up to speed here, and I'm going to rip apart this sentence because anybody who says that the game tells you to shoot the barrels here, or says, here's the gun, shoot the barrels, or this NPC even says any reference to that, is a fucking moron. Here is why. The argument is with this sentence here. Now, prior to this sentence, his dialogue says, some idiot parked a ship out in the open, which is a good way to attract marauders. The next sentence says, see those canisters by the entrance. Now, the first thing with this is, see those canisters by the entrance is referencing the entrance to the ship that was parked out there because he couldn't take them out because the marauders were being attracted to the ship. So he says, you see those canisters by the entrance of the ship? I paraphrase that because that is how you fucking read. You take one sentence and you take what's going on because he's still talking about himself, and then you apply it accordingly. So he is saying, you see those canisters by the entrance of the ship. The reason it doesn't need to be there is because the ship is already referenced inside the first near the ending of the first sentence before this one shows up. So, see those canisters by the entrance of the ship that I just ran away from because the marauders were there? Marauders come sniffing around in here, and I can take them all out with a single shot. Okay, first of all, his gun misfired. So his gun's broken. So he can't take them out with a single shot. Secondly, him saying what he can do has no relevance to you. This sentence doesn't apply to you. There's nothing in here that you can take and apply to you. So what happens here is when I tell a game developer, this guy's dialogue does not say, hey, here's a gun, go shoot those barrels, or hey, take my gun and go shoot the barrels. They then realize that they're wrong. They're trying to argue with me a point they can't argue with that on. So then they start changing their sentence. Well, it references that. No, that's you being a fucking idiot because you can't handle that you don't know how to read. So let me continue here. When you take this gun from him, he no longer has it, which means he can't shoot it. Whether the gun was misfired or not doesn't change the fact now he no longer has a gun, which means he can't shoot anything. This sentence is applying to him and him alone. There's nothing in here that you apply to anywhere in this area at all. That is him and him alone. How players take this shit and say it means to shoot the barrels is fucking out of control. That brings me to another point that people try to argue with. Well, there's a marker over there. The game doesn't go over anything on the mapping or markers, so stop trying to use that as a counterpoint because unless the game goes over that stuff, you're not going to be able to argue that point. Okay? So, there's no map markers, there's no explanation about the map, so don't try to use there's a marker on there as an argument. Secondly, trying to say, well, the targeting reticle turns red is an irrelevant point. This is about, does the game tell you to shoot the barrels or not? And the answer is no. So it doesn't matter what anybody else's observation about what they choose to do. If the game doesn't tell you this, then you don't do it. There's absolutely no reason for anybody to go around shooting the barrels in here. What gets me, too, is that people will argue with me that the game doesn't tell you how to actually look around because people say it's assumed, totally ignoring the fact that there's an instruction on the screen on how to move, sprint, crouch, jump. Like, those are not important. Like, those are just somehow ignorant because I point out that there is no camera control. The game doesn't tell you how to look around. But the game, that's a basic instruction. So to focus on, well, it's kind of obvious, assuming while you're ignoring all the rest of the other points I made makes you an idiot. And this is retarded to even argue about. So, that's all there is to it. Steel Gamer signing off. You guys have a good day or night wherever you are.